Strymon effects have so many features and so many secondary parameters that you can always find ways to exploit them and push the pedals to do things they were never even intended to do. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 discoveries I've made like that. I'm going to look at 5 different Strymon effects, and in each case, I'm going to hit the settings so hard that I completely transform them. First, we're going to look at the NightSky. This is a reverb, but I found a way to get a Leslie sound out of it. This is the kind of thing that's going to sound like a spinning speaker or a rotary type effect. Just use these settings, and this is what happens. Next, I'm going to turn the timeline into a distortion pedal. Now, the timeline is the delay, but the trick here is to turn grit all the way up. Grit is adding degradation from one repeat to the next. And normally, it doesn't touch the notes you play. It only touches the echoes of the notes you play. But if you go into lo-fi mode and turn up the delay speed as far as it'll go, everything will be so fast that the repeats will be indistinguishable as repeats. They'll just sound like the notes you're playing in real time, except they'll have all this extra degradation. They'll be gridded up, and this is what it sounds like. Just for reference, this is my clean sound. Here's the distorted one again. The thing I like about this is that it sounds like what I always wish pedals that look like this would sound like. Then the other secret to this sound is that while I'm playing, I'm constantly controlling the filter knob with an expression pedal. So the trebly parts of every note I play are constantly flickering in and out, and it's just this extra little glitchy thing that I love. Except I'm not using a normal expression pedal to do that. I'm using the sidestep. Sidestep is this thing that just does what expression pedals do, except that you can program it to move at speeds and in patterns that go beyond what you could perform with your foot if you were using a typical expression pedal. So in this case, I have it set to be random, and I'm using that to constantly move the filter knob. Fuck this. As you may know, a B-bender is a mechanical device that goes inside your guitar, and it'll bend the B string for you if you do this maneuver. Typically, it's connected to your guitar strap, and you have to do this thing with your shoulder, and it'll bend the B string. I wanted to see if I could create an effect like that using the Mobius. And the trick here is to go into the Quadrature settings and set up a small frequency shift that's controlled by the envelope. An envelope is just what this pedal calls the strength of how you play. So the cool thing here is that you can control the bend effect by how hard you hit the strings. Now, I've never played a B-bender in my life, and even I can tell that's not what it sounds like. What I just did sounds like something else completely different. No one would ever hear that and think it's a B-bender. But I think it's good that it turned out like that. I like the way it sounds. I think it's more interesting, as a result. Deco already does chorus and flanger sounds very straightforwardly, but there's also a way to make it do tremolo effects. It's just complicated. First, you have to go into the double tracker side and put it in the invert type. And then you have to turn the lag knob. Then you have to turn the lag time knob to be exactly on the 0 symbol. And the idea here is that your signal will be reproduced with an inverted copy. Okay? Then you have to set the blend knob to be exactly at 50%. And if you do that, you'll be forcing your signal and the inverted copy of your signal to destructively interfere with each other. And then, if you wiggle the blend knob, you'll be moving in and out of the destructive interference. And the result is a tremolo effect. Now, it's kind of a drag that you have to use your hand to do that, but since the Deco takes expression pedals, you can just hook it up so that the expression pedal controls blend, and then you can use your foot to do it. But then, why use your foot at all when you can use the side step? The first Strymon effect I ever got was the Flint. And even though I've had it the longest, I've always found it to be the hardest to abuse. It's the kind of thing where it sounds pretty slick, basically no matter how you set the knobs, but it's also hard to get away from what it's normally supposed to do, which is reverb and tremolo. But I'll show you the weirdest thing I've ever gotten it to do, which is that I start on the reverb half and I use the side step again to control the decay knob. So it's constantly flicking back and forth between short decay and long decay for the reverb. And the result ends up sounding like kind of a tremolo effect. Okay, but then you can add the Flint's built-in tremolo on top of that. And if you set the two speeds differently, the result is sort of a weird aural illusion, because you can hear that there's some flickering happening, but you can't make out how fast it's happening because you're hearing two speeds at once.